Hi everybody, I'm Bill Revere from NJDOT, and we're here today with the Absecon Bicycle and Pedestrian Safety Action Plan. This is our second video, which is going to get into the recommendations we've come up with to help make Absecon a more bicycle and pedestrian friendly place. And now, let me hand it over to my friend and colleague, Steve Wong of Sam Schwartz, an expert in bicycle and pedestrian planning. Steve, take it away.
Thanks, Bill. Hello and welcome to the second public information video for the Absecon Bicycle and Pedestrian Safety Action Plan. This video will present the recommendations developed to encourage biking and walking to access the downtown, train station, schools, parks, and the boat ramp by creating safer bicycle and pedestrian environments. The recommendations will include sidewalk improvements, bicycle facility improvements, bicycle parking locations, and spot intersection improvements. Finally, we will discuss the next steps and how you can help. The first set of recommendations we will be talking about are the sidewalk improvements. What we are showing here is our sidewalk inventory map for the corridors. The study identifies locations with good, fair, poor, or missing sidewalk. The three main locations that have been identified by the project team as missing sidewalk are Mill Road, Fonts Landing, and Lisbon Avenue. Mill Road has two different locations with missing sidewalk, with one of them being along the western portion of the roadway and the other in front of the 9/11 Memorial. Although there are walking paths in Heritage Park adjacent to Mill Road and to the memorial, there is a small gap with clear worn footpaths or desire lines that have formed from pedestrians walking in the area, a clear indication that sidewalk is needed here. One of the goals of the project was to develop a comprehensive bicycle network. There are a couple of on-road existing facilities on Highland, Lisbon, Franklin Boulevard, and a section of Jersey Avenue, as well as the shared use path through Pitney Park. We work to create a bicycle network that covers most of the major destinations within the city, but we also look to make connections to the proposed bicycle facilities in the neighboring towns. For those of you who may have missed the first public information video, here are some of the bicycle facilities we will be recommending. Facilities are presented from the least to most protected facilities. We always try to implement the most protected, but the more protected facilities require more space, which isn't always available. But any improvement is better than none. So the improvement options we have are sharrows, bike lanes, buffered bike lanes, and shared use paths or an off-street path. Sharrows are being proposed along Pitney Road, Shore Road, Mill Road, and New Jersey Avenue. While sharrows are not a dedicated facility for cyclists, they do help reinforce the legitimacy of bicycle traffic, places cyclists in the correct position within the lane, encourages cyclists to ride in the correct direction of travel, provides a wayfinding element for bike routes, and in some cases will allow for existing parking to remain. If the community chooses to eliminate parking, more protected facilities can be implemented. So looking at the roadway characteristics of the routes we mentioned, they all have narrow travel lanes. And we didn't want to reduce the travel lane widths because of the traffic volume and the types of vehicles using it. And the shoulders were too narrow for a bike lane. They should be a minimum of 5 feet. New Jersey Avenue, one of the locations for the sharrows, is an example of the trade-offs between a stronger pedestrian environment and a strong cycling environment. Since the city has already done a good job in the downtown section of Jersey Avenue, by making this area more walkable with curb extensions and streetscaping, sharrows are the context-appropriate improvement here. Bike lanes are being proposed on Lisbon Avenue, Ohio Avenue, 10th Avenue, and Station Avenue. Bike lanes provide a dedicated facility for cyclists to use, and providing those bike lanes encourages those who aren't confident and strong riders to take their bike instead of a car because they're not now sharing space with traffic. Bike lanes should be a minimum of 5 feet, and in some cases, like on Lisbon Avenue, bike lanes can be implemented by restricting parking on one side of the street. Parking would still be allowed on the other side, but in this residential area, there's a lot of space for people to park, and likely parking on both sides isn't needed. For 10th Avenue, also Morton Avenue, by reducing the travel lanes, bike lanes can be implemented. Narrowing the travel lanes here will have the added benefit of traffic calming, as you see posted as 25 miles an hour. To encourage greater commuting alternatives to the train station, bike lanes are also recommended on Station Avenue and Ohio Avenue. Ohio runs next to the Pike and can be used as a parallel route, avoiding the high speeds and traffic of the White Horse Pike, and Station Avenue provides that vital connection across the White Horse Pike. We wanted to provide a better protected bicycle facility in those two locations because of the access to transit. Buffered bike lanes are being proposed along Morton Avenue and Lisbon Avenue, from Cordova Drive to North Shore. Buffered bike lanes provide all of the same pros as the bike lanes with the added protection of a buffer. In addition to separating the bike lanes from traffic, the buffer also provides a little extra space for cyclists when parked car doors are opened. This portion of Lisbon Avenue has existing bike lanes, so the buffer space is simply the addition of paint to the roadway. Shared use paths, the most protective bicycle facility, are recommended along Jersey Avenue from the Pike to Mill Road and Fonts Landing Road. Shared use paths provide dedicated off-street facility that can be shared with both bicyclists and pedestrians. In most cases, it will also allow for existing parking within the roadway itself to remain. The downsides to shared use paths, however, include higher costs and potential right-of-way impacts, including impacts to driveways and existing utilities. On Fonts Landing, things get a little bit more complicated. One alternative is divided into two parts. The first section is from Pitney Road to Ruth Court, and it involves transitioning the roadway from a two-way road to a one-way only roadway. Doing this allows for the necessary space to accommodate a shared use path. Fonts Landing would resume two-way operations at Ruth Court through to 4th Street. In the two-way section of Fonts Landing, a boardwalk is proposed to connect bicyclists and the shared use path the rest of the way to the parking area. The second alternative for Fonts Landing would keep the entire length two-way by widening the roadway and the bridge to 50 feet. That's the full width of the right-of-way available in this area. Despite the roadway being more narrow than that, the right-of-way does exist to expand it to 50 feet. Those 50 feet are sufficient enough to provide 2 lanes of travel, maintain parking on both sides of the roadway, and a shared use path. Of course, we are recommending new or additional bike parking along the newly connected areas. Those recommendations include parks, schools throughout the downtown, and the boat ramp. For our intersection improvements, the first is at Bolton Avenue and Lee Avenue along Shore Road. These two intersections have a history of bicycle and pedestrian crashes and are near bus stops and a park, both bicycle and pedestrian trip generators. Improvements call for high visibility crosswalks and an actuated rectangular rapid flashing beacon, or RRFB, similar to the one on Pitney Road by the school. This tool draws attention to the crosswalk and the pedestrian and the presence of pedestrians for motorists. The next intersection recommendation is on Shore Road at Holy Spirit High School. Currently, there is no convenient, safe method for pedestrians to cross New Road if they're coming from the residential developments opposite the school. Similar to Bolton Avenue and Lee Avenue, we are recommending high visibility crosswalks and RRFBs. The next location is the intersection of New Jersey Avenue, Station Avenue, and the White Horse Pike. This area has a history of pedestrian and bicycle crashes and is also across the street from the train station and several bus stops. The slip lane off of the Pike onto New Jersey Avenue may encourage vehicles to enter the downtown at high speeds, causing dangerous conditions. Two alternatives have been developed. Both include closing that slip lane. This alternative would create a pedestrian plaza in the vacated roadway, and that plaza can be used as a gateway treatment announcing the downtown. And you can do things like vendor stalls or a farmer's market in that space. The second alternative takes the idea a little bit further by enhancing the gateway treatment, closing access across the Pike, but also connecting the eastern portion of the corridor to the rest of the downtown. These two alternatives would require traffic to go up and around Station Avenue, similar to the functionality of a jug handle in order to access downtown. This gives the vehicles the opportunity to slow down prior to entering New Jersey Avenue. Access to the downtown could also be accomplished through signage directing visitors to the municipal lot a little further up the Pike. So directing them to the parking locations to park the car and then walk in the downtown area. So those are the preliminary recommendations to be included in the Absecon Bicycle and Pedestrian Safety Action Plan. We are providing a survey on the website to submit your feedback from this video. We want to hear from you. Check back in on the website towards the end of the year as we release the final report. Thank you.